Welcome. There was some things said, but we've had a lot of red this week, right? I think we've seen Bitcoin drop by like 5%, but it seems to be rallying again today. So, um, what am I doing? I'm just chilling out, sitting back and enjoying doing what I'm doing. So, how are you, Nexus? You all good, my friend? Absolutely. Yeah, very good to hear. Welcome to everyone in the crowd. There's Alpha. Welcome to the show. Everyone who's new, who's joined us. We've had a lot of people join this week in this Discord server, so welcome. There's a few viewers on YouTube as well, so again, welcome to the show. If you have any questions, I've got my eyes on both the YouTube comments and also in Discord. So, um, yeah, great to see everyone, and hope to have a great discussion tonight. Now, I'd also welcome any questions as we go throughout. I know obviously we've been doing some big investigations, we've been supporting a lot of communities, a lot of data has come in as well. So maybe I can give a quick update on what's happening on that front, where we are, and yeah, yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week. In fact, I see Nick down there. Maybe Nick wants to come and join us up on stage and say a few things, maybe. If not, I can certainly kick on. It's up to you, Nick. Don't feel pressured. Yeah. Well, I'll kick off anyway, just with an update as to where we're at, because there's some crazy numbers out there. So we've obviously been doing a bit of a preliminary investigation on stacks, sorry, and Trade AI, which I'll say up front because I've seen the on-chain data now. I understand the bigger picture. It seems to be a $440 million Ponzi scheme, which is not insignificant. There's some large numbers there. And that was really created through various communities. It wasn't just the Trade AI and Stacks communities. In fact, we found 107 different smart contracts that was used to connect different communities together potentially. They're called syndicates or partners. So as it is with Ponzi schemes, they rise. Those who get in early probably make a lot of money, but most people will fall foul at some point, right? And that's what's happened in this case, to the tune of I'm seeing numbers of people being 80 million down, right? So just in terms of the data set that we've been able to see from our investigation, and thank you to everyone who provided that data. It's really inspiring to see that so many care, and I really hope that we can do you proud, even just being a part of this community. So yeah, we've had over 170 people come forward and provide their details, to the tune of about 10 million in losses, which is again significant numbers. Okay, and our approach really is as it has been with Quopi and other scams, is how can we build a path forward for investors or victims in this case that is the right path, or a path that has a light at the end of the tunnel. And one of my biggest regrets on the Quopi side of things is that we didn't necessarily take a step forward quick enough, I think. And unfortunately, a small number of people got impacted by what's called a recovery scam. So they'd been scammed by Quopi, and then some people who seemed to be legitimate came across and said, "Hey, if you pay 30% of what you put in, we'll give you your money back." And they paid 30% and got nothing back, right? So that's called a recovery scam. With this one, I wanted to act as quickly as I could. So we had Nemo approach us and say, hey, he was up for managing it himself. I said, well, we have experience in it. We've got a platform to be able to do it, and we can support. So we set about, and I just wanted to make sure we're there at the forefront, trying to provide a legitimate path forward for everyone. And I have warned the communities and everyone who shared the data with us via email that just be wary of these types of scams. Honestly, be very careful about them. They seem so legitimate, like they've got you on the hook. They almost feed you the information you want to hear in order for you to part ways with even more money. And you just need to be really careful of that. I've seen it time and time again. And there's going to be people in this Discord who have uh, experienced that, unfortunately, from various scams. So yeah, we've most of the detail that I've shared, I've kept out of this particular session is what we've done and some of the successes that we've had in connection with other companies as well for this particular case. I'm not going to share some of the details there because I feel, at least from a public perspective, I feel it's definitely worthwhile shrouding that in privacy between us and the victims here, because we want to make sure we've got the upper hand. So if you received an email from us, uh, we've sent various out. I really recommend keeping that private or only keeping that between yourself and somebody else you can verify is another victim rather than somebody who was behind the scam, because we want to have the upper hand, or your attorneys, yeah, or law enforcement as well. Feel free to share that. So yeah, just in terms of the investigation, I sent out a very brief summary. It took us I don't know 16 hours earlier in the week or something like that to really figure out what all these different contracts were, where they went to, and things. And yeah, I think we've uncovered the whole ecosystem. So we have all that. It's all on record. It's all on the blockchain, and the blockchain never lies. So um, let's see how this goes forward. I'm hopeful, as I always am in these types of situations, that we can really make a difference in the space. So let's see. I think I'll leave it at that. Before I say too much more. And again, I'd welcome any questions as well. So if anyone's got any questions in Discord, geez, 25 comments. I've not been keeping on top of them. Anything that's come through in terms of questions for me? Just on a quick check. No. All right. Okay, no questions for me. That's good. Not in YouTube either. All right, but yeah, if you have a question, feel free to just drop it in chat. You can also come up on stage and you can, come off mute and listen to it, or sorry, ask us a question via voice as well. Completely up to you. How do you join the email? Yeah, so we are going to be recommending that um, everybody follows a certain path. So what I would do is probably open a ticket in this Discord with your email address. Well, actually, yeah, with your email address, and I'll probably want to see a transaction as well, of you depositing into the scheme, and then we can give you the right path forward from there. Yeah, but we've got a channel in here. Open a ticket. And you can just open one in there. So the emails have done their job. We have communicated, and we've got a path forward. So I'm not sure we're going to use that medium going forward too much more, to be honest. Maybe once or twice just to give a few quick updates. But yeah, don't feel like you're missing too much at this point. But yeah, please raise a ticket. Okay, that's Trade AI Stacks. Any other questions come in? Go for it. That's a great result. Yeah, it's a great result. Hopefully that comes through for them. And yeah, thanks for supporting that community there. Um, just as a side note, actually, I don't know if everybody knows, but we actually have a dedicated victim support website, which is ioc.support. So ioc.support. And we actually received our first phone call this week from a victim who had been involved in a fake trading platform. And again, on ioc.support, not only can you call us, you can also check out the documentation. There's a button on the front page that says, I've been scammed. And then it gives you a whole list of things that you can go do depending on the different type of scam as well. To really, the aim of those documents is to protect you in the moment, right? Assuming that you can't get hold of anyone. But then also we keep building this out as well each time that we can. There is also uh, written text on where to report as well and for what reasons as well. So a lot of great information on there. That is purely going to be for victims. There's nothing else going to be on that website. It's very basic, but there's enough information to guide people when they, when they unfortunately come across some form of scam. So yeah, if you hear or see of anyone who is going through a scam, just been through a scam, send them to that website. It's got all the details of what they need to do to keep safe. ioc.support. There you go. So we're all about supporting. Nice, nice. No, it's great, and that's the. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's a slight delay there, but yeah, I was just going to say, that's the whole point is how can you act as quickly as possible, and sometimes there's just not people around to speak to. So I think having that written down in documents somewhere is really going to help. So yeah, let's um let's keep pushing forward, but that's what this whole community is about. There's nearly 1,700 people in here now, and I like to think every single one of them is able to help people at some point. So um, yeah, so thanks for the updates, Alpha. Anything happening in your world this week? Anything crazy? Anything you want to share or discuss? You, Yeah, I mean, I know, folks have mentioned about, disclosing ill health or whatever, and I don't know, like I get it in a way because let's I don't, heaven forbid, like let's say something serious is really happening. Do you really want everyone to know about it? Especially if there's a path forward and you're on the path to recovery or something like that. I'm not so sure. Um, yeah, and hasn't someone come along and said, "Hey, I'm gonna buy the project" or something? I'm sure I seen that the other day.
know things were better when it was named as top, and I'm just like, I don't even think that name sounds good, but hey, that's cool.
Imagine if this was a company that's existed for 5 years and they've gone through 3 rebrands in 5 years. Like, what's going on in management at that point? Like, there's a lot of questions. Crypto King asks how much money was involved. At its peak, Advantis AI had a market cap of nearly 150, 200 million. But Boss likes to scan tokens with it sometimes. I don't know if the bot even still works at this point, but last time I checked, yeah, well, it was peanuts. But for an AI project before the AI narrative was taking off, that was a pretty good sum. That was a pretty tidy sum compared to all the other projects out there purporting to do the same or similar stuff. What made Advantis different was that they wanted to integrate token scanning into Discord and Telegram so that communities could just plug a contract into it and it'd be like, oh, it's on what chain? Oh, here's the token stats. Here's the supply. The top 20 wallets hold this much. Like it'd give you a real database glance at any token contract and distribution. And that was cool. That's a cool tool. But because of all of this, like the project went from like 70 or 80 million during this bear market. That's where it was hanging. Now it's down to less than $100,000 last I checked. So it's down 99.9%. And I do think it's a shame because that was a cool project. And they were offering
It
premium
was.
features in an interesting model based on how many tokens you have.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was a.
Media Advantages asks a
Sorry,
question. Sorry, go for it, boss.
yeah, I was just going to say it was a pretty cool project. To be fair, we got the Adventis token scanner in here, right? And you can use it, I think, in our premium channel. So, and yeah,
You
it did
can't add it to any new discords either. So
right. So I best keep it in there then. I wonder how long it's going to be running for. Um, but yeah, it was really good.
that's
It really does help highlight what the sort of distribution are, what some of the risks are with some of the tokens and things. So from that perspective, it's really quite nice. Um, yeah, and it's a shame, but you know what? Sometimes these things happen. Hindsight's always 2020. I'm sure if they could replay it all over again, there would have been some different decisions made. However, you know, if something does come to light which is seemingly fraudulent, then that should also be pushed forward as well. But yeah, I've not looked into it at all. Been too busy with Trade AI and a couple of other things as well, for sure. Yep,
Media Advantages has a question.
go for it.
They ask, have we tracked who else is involved in the Trade AI scam, and if there are any funds in those thieves' wallets?
Um,
That's a good question. I'm not sure what I'm
so
allowed to say. So
in terms of where those assets have gone, what we can say is 441 million was paid in by investors and 443 million was paid out. There's likely to be one or two contracts missing, but I think we've got most of them, like I said. Now, some of those contracts, whether they're syndicates or partner contracts or whatever, they some of them paid out to a lot of people, right? And you can see if you use certain tools, you can see um, that pattern play out, like lots of payments out to lots of wallets, all not huge amounts. But then there's one or two wallets which pay out significant amounts to other addresses, like to a single address as well, which was interesting. There are some individuals who are clear recipients of some of those funds as well because their wallets are tagged by either OpenSea or Twitter or something like that. So yes, there's some indication. The problem is with analyzing on-chain stuff is it's literally transactional. It's black and white. And so we don't necessarily know what that context is going to be.
like why did that person receive so much funds? Now, potentially some of you guys do, some of you victims do, and may actually it might not be a bad shout to have a private call with some of the victims as well, just maybe on Google or something, Google Meets. Say, hey, here's what I found in a little bit more detail. Does this mean anything to you? I don't know what you'd think about that. Probably need a couple of days just to plan it out, what to go through, what some of the key points are. But that might actually add a lot of value, actually.
Yeah, given the wide berth around the world of the number of the victims, the size, that I think we'd want to give it a couple days advance notice, at least to give all the time zones a chance to participate in that. That would be a really good idea.
Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll send an email out to all the people and see what they want to do and give them a time and a place to join the call, and we can go through a few things. I think that'll be interesting to say the least, for sure. So yeah, not truly answered your question. Gave a little bit of insight, but potentially gave a path forward as well, just to understand.
To the degree we publicly can.
Yeah. Or if you've got any other ideas, please feel free to shout up. And by the way, some of the victims have given some great feedback as well via email. So thank you very much for that. My wife is bringing me some cakes right now. She is a goddess. Thank you very much. So please continue giving any additional information or what you feel is missed. From that initial report, because there will be things missed, right? It's just natural because I wasn't a part of the project. So yeah, all right, let's do that. I'll send an email out. I will send an invite out, and we'll see how many people join.
Sounds like some interesting stuff there. But I do have another thing that would be a very interesting thing to finally get to. Collabland is the bot that most people use for the communities for token gating. And recently, well, I think like mid of last month, they put out a tweet and a blog post stating that they are now changing the way that they do things. So previously, you could pay like $99, I believe, for support, and that was like all you would get with that. And all the token gating was free. However, mid last month, they stated that going forward, you can only have 4 token gated rules. Roles and rules is very different there. So you have multiple roles, but if you have 2 or 3 rules to that role, that counts as rules. So 4 rules would basically imply that you have maybe 4 roles, and those 4 roles have one specific thing where they check for an NFT. But if you have more than one, well, that counts. Now, after 4, then you'd have to pay a $35 monthly price for it, which I hope that most communities saw it, because the way that Collabland did it is social media and a blog post. Now, most of the people that use Collabland might not even be checking the Collabland socials. So it could be coming as a black box, and that's not a very cool way to do things. When previously, when they've done any sort of communication, they would send a, um, how shall I say, it's like in the Collabland configuration channel or the Collabland Connect channel, they would put the update there, the announcement there, so everyone could see it, no matter which Discord community you're in. So seems a little mean to do it that way, and it's like, why didn't they do it when that's how they usually do things? But yeah, I feel like at this point there's likely going to be a lot of communities that are choosing to leave Collabland, maybe adopt other token gating bots like Vulkan or Matrika, but most likely Vulkan as Matrika's paid completely, and I think that's also like $90 a month, which is pretty ridiculous, but yeah, is what it is. It doesn't have that good of a support for chains either. Um, but the main reason why most people, my most projects or communities use Collabland is because it's the most diverse and it has the most niche chains. So, as an example, Collabland is the only token gating bot that supports BNB chain, while Vulkan and Matrika does not. Uh, the only one that supports ZK Sync Error, what's it, Scroll, and all of those new fun little chains that are popping up every week. The only one that supports that. So suppose that's likely why they decided, oh, we have a big enough amount of servers and people that use us, we might as well start charging people. Uh, Nexus calls it premierization. So,
Yeah, I was
so
I was talking in Boring Security about this point earlier because they've got over 100 token gated roles, right? And we don't have that many here. I think we've got the memberships, and that's probably about it, to be honest. Now we've got inside word that obviously there's a not everybody is pointing in the same direction over at Collabland, and so quite a few people are unhappy. I personally understand why they'd want to charge. I'm not sure if the prices are right, but I understand why they'd want to charge because those types of things cost money to host. The infrastructure and things like that. It does cost money, and to date it's been for free. So I've heard that most of it was self-funded. So I get it's kind of like Metasleuth, right? They initially their beta release it was free to everyone, so they can gather data for testing purposes and things, and then they brought a subscription in, and I pay the pro license for that every month, and I understand why they'd want to charge that as well because it's very expensive to run visualization tools. So I get it, but yeah, it seemed like there's some disputes and some folks. There will be community fallout. There will be communities who leave Collabland. There are a couple of others out there who do something similar, but yeah, they're all going to start charging eventually, so it is what it is. Yeah.
it's very sudden. Like I think a lot of people would have been fine with it if they introduced it over time. Like say they announced 2 months ago, oh, we want to start charging a premium for our services. People would have a lot more communities, I guess, would have had the chance to, okay, we will be starting to pay in 2 months. Let's notify the community, figure out how we're going to do things because some communities are, they don't generate any revenue. They're just a community, and they do roles because that's what they do. Yeah, used as there's always the alternatives, so there's always alternatives. For the most part, yes. Now, I'll go back to what I said earlier. There are alternatives, Vulkan and Matrika. However, they don't have the same level of support as Collabland. So there is that bit of some communities have to use Collabland because they may be on BNB chain, and BNB is a niche chain technically. So they won't have any way to verify NFTs to give token gated roles unless they do it manually. Maniacal says, could always build their own. I mean, true, but not everyone has the technical skill to do that. So there is that bit of you have to kind of figure out what are you going to do. Can you use an alternative like Vulkan, or are you just completely screwed and have to continue using Collabland, where you might not be cash positive to begin with? No, like that's the only kind of consideration that I have. I know some communities that are they don't make any revenue at all. However, they use Collabline to give the community some sort of how do you put it? Uh, perks for being holders of some NFTs that they maybe have some kind of partnership with, or just because of someone wants a cool role tied to a NFT or so. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, most
It,
people in here
on,
now
on,
are not necessarily going to be building their own discords, but I would just say just keep an eye out. If you're in a token gated community, you might want to pre-warn them that this. In fact, I think the change has already come in. I think it was yesterday. So those token gated roles might go away. yeah, so just be mindful of that. I also have, before I forget, a couple of other things that I want to share as well is that I've noticed an uptick in a particular attack vector, which has always been there, by the way, but it seems to be getting much worse because I'm seeing more victims of it, which is fake tweets coming after legitimate tweets. So the narrative goes like this. For example, big protocol on Ethereum, thousands of users will post a tweet, say, hey, we've just done an upgrade, blah, blah, blah. Directly underneath, there will be another Twitter profile which looks identical, but is not. It's a scam, right? The profile's a scam. And what they'll do is they'll tag a comment underneath that says, and if you want to claim your free tokens, click this link. You click the link and you get drained. So that's happening quite a lot, and I'm seeing more and more of it. I've even seen and uncovered a network of fake influencers and potentially the person who built the software to do it, that enables all of this to happen, right? We've done a lot of research on this. To tackle this, though, I was thinking, like, it's no good trying to help people after they've lost their assets, because what do I always say? I always say trying to prevent losses is much easier than trying to recover the losses, right? Just because it's blockchain, it's crypto, it's really hard to recover assets. So I thought, how can we prevent some of this from happening? And I thought, well, there are tools out there on the market that do identify what's a fake profile and what's a legitimate profile. And one of them is called SafeSol. Now, these guys, I've met with them a couple of times. I've never really promoted them or anything like that. And I don't actively go and promote any sort of company or anything like that. But they've got a tool which, might be helpful to some. Which, like, if you're scrolling through a Twitter feed, and what you would typically see is a green box around the official profiles, or like the images, the PFPs. You'll see a green box around that to say that that is a legitimate one. If it's a fake one, you'll see a red box around it, and it is dependent on people reporting and things like that. But what they're going to do is incentivize people for reporting as well. How sustainable that is, I don't know. What I'm going to do is, on the 22nd, we're going to plan a little bit of a podcast on what is this attack vector, talk about it in a bit more detail to raise awareness for it. If I'm sure they'll demonstrate their tool and what they can do and things, and with that in mind, it will be down to you as an individual whether this is another tool that you want to arm yourself with or not. Other tools that I'd recommend is Wallet Guard and Pocket Universe. They've literally been known to save people from getting drained in this community, so please go check them out. So that's me promoting other projects. Done. Won't do it anymore. But yeah, if you're interested in that, what we're going to do is, for those people who are going to attend, we're going to do a couple of live tasks that you can go do on X or wherever on social media to report fake profiles, right? And once you've reported those fake profiles, we're going to reward live potentially. And I've got a bag of IOC tokens as well that I might give it away as some rewards as well to a few people. So 22nd of May, we are going to we're going to be having that. We're going to be planning it up until then. This literally broke today. I've not even told any of the contributors about this, but I just feel as though this is something that we can't just stand back and do nothing about. I feel like we should be talking about it at least. So there you go. A little bit about what we're going to do later in the month. And also, we still have the content for the DYOR course that I built, which was how to do your own research. And I talk about different types of Ponzi's, marketing that's used, and all sorts of different things that you wouldn't normally hear from folks. So if anyone's interested in that, again, hit me up, and if we can get enough interest, I'll run another one of them. And then finally, I just want to raise one other point, is that there are IOC memberships available. You can go to the website and check that out. you're paying cash or crypto. It is a paid membership, but there are certain things that you do get as a result of that. And actually, I want more people to utilize these more. To be honest, I'm going to upload a file here real quick, which is a an example of a summary of a report that we can do. It doesn't take too much time. We don't go into too much detail, but you can see visually. I've just put it in comments. You see visually, it's red, amber, or green, right? So you'll understand what type of risks are involved with any particular project, right? And it's just a summary view. We can go deep dive. We can do like 20-page reports on projects, which we've been known for in the past. But that will be on a request by request basis. We can knock these summaries out pretty quickly. So if anyone wants something like this, consider just checking out the memberships pages on the website. I'm going to stop gassing now. Is there anyone got anything else that would like to talk about, or any other questions, or anything like that before we shut up shop?
Only here to say Cypher's not allowed to participate. But I was trying to rag the whole competition.
Is he? He's probably
I
got
just
his
Yeah,
want to
he's
bots
like,
and
remind
things.
everybody that prices of big assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Matic, a lot of our favorites might be down. But remember that the stuff being built on these things that exists now, that stuff didn't even exist 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Bitcoin or Ethereum layer twos didn't exist till like 2 or 3 years ago. Like all of this stuff is like developing market stuff. Really exciting, actually.
It's definitely exciting, but man, we're not ready for mass adoption yet. We're really not. It's too complicated. It's too complex, too technical for the average Joe to come on, get a MetaMask, and just buy some coins. Right? It should be super
Well,
simple, and it's super simple to get scammed.
isn't but that's true. But when I say that to other people and when I hear you say it, I'm starting to think like, man, I sound like a IRC user in 1994 going, man, this shit is awesome. Look at what I can do. But it's so complicated. You have to use a command line interface to get in here. You have to have technical skill, technical knowledge. Like that makes you a vessel for all sorts of security like problems. And it's as
w-
true today with crypto as just connecting to the internet itself was in the 90s. So we've got room to grow, room to fix, room to maneuver.
I don't know what IOC is. I might just like, keep my young self mouth, It's like I'll pretend I know what's happening. But I would say crypto just has a bit of a learning curve. Like, it's sure it's hard to an extent, but it's mostly just like you have a bit of a learning curve. And I think most of that learning curve is getting on chain, as we tend to say, actually getting on chain, and then we're like, oh, so this is how this works. And then I suppose what has a little more of a learning curve is IBC. How do you say it? In I Cosmos, the Cosmos stuff. I can't remember what's the term. I think it's IBC, right? It's very weird, but we are, I suppose, wallets and so on that are moving towards making things a little easier in that sense. Like Sequence, for example, doesn't use a 24 or 12 word mnemonic or as a seed phrase, but doesn't use that mnemonic method of creating your wallet or going into your wallet. It uses a something that we're all familiar with, email and password. And the interface itself looks very good. It's easier for Web 2 people to understand. And then we have things like Zengo also as an example that doesn't use seed phrase either. It doesn't use that 12 or 24 seed phrase. It just lets you create your wallet, use like a facial recognition thing, a password, and something else three things that help you secure your account and just make it easier for you to get onboarded. And as buy crypto and sell crypto and all of those things. And I think it also has that feature where you can send crypto without needing the gas token itself. So where it pays it for you, kind of. I can't remember, that thing that was introduced on Ethereum a while back. What is it called? Anyway, that thing. So there are wallets that are gradually making it easier for people to get to that point of being onboarded to crypto, to being introduced to what crypto is and how the blockchain works. Sure, there's still a whole lot of kinks that need to be worked out, but we are seeing that growth in where wallet creators and developers are thinking, what makes it easier? What can I do to make people be like, oh, this isn't that hard? Whoever told me it was hard, We need that kind of, and it's coming. It's slowly. And then another example is, so, as we tend to hear Web3 game, I will immediately think, oh, I need my own crypto wallet, I need my own MetaMask, and I need to connect my MetaMask to play the game. And it's going to be a pain because I have to use Wallet Connect on mobile or on desktop. I need to somehow connect to my extension, maybe through Wallet Connect also. It's annoying. However, we are seeing that, that ERC 4337 thing where the games itself have a wallet built in, so you don't need to create it. You just log into your account in the game, and boom, your wallet's there. Your tokens are sent into that wallet. If you want to transfer it out, the game pays for the gas and maybe takes like a bit of the token as a charge. So again, it makes it easier. Oh damn, so it is giving me problems tonight. But like, there is a lot of things that are, how shall I say, they more UX, where the experience of how you get on chain and what you do on chain just feels more intuitive. That makes it that people are more likely to introduce to crypto. Mm,
Yeah, I mean,
it is killing me tonight.
innovation is it's a one-way street, right? So once somebody starts innovating something, somebody else is going to take that and build on it, right? Regardless of what it is. So you are going to have to go through tough times to understand what the problems are to then innovate, right? So it is coming, but I always think like the brightest future in crypto is where users don't even know they're using crypto. Like they've just I don't know. Maybe they I always think like a PayPal interface or something like that, and as something as simple as that, but crypto underneath.
If I have my way, in 20 years, you will be trading on an interface that doesn't know or care to tell you what chain you're on because it doesn't fucking matter. The exchange, the trading will be so fluid and so easy that if you'll endure whatever network fees you're enduring on whatever layer 2 solution that's open source, protected by you, lets you hold your keys, protects your keys, and prevents bad guys from easily getting in and just shipping your wallet away. And I think that's fairly achievable. It doesn't feel like we're there right now with what's on the market, with Trust Wallet, with MetaMask, all of these things, they work, but they're too easy to screw it up.
Yes, sir. Most certainly are. I mean, Coinbase and things like that. That's all pretty straightforward, right? That's okay. Binance, KuCoin, those sorts of things are
I
okay.
think so, but at the same time though, JP, what Coinbase and Binance practice is a unique form of customer preference where they can change the rules per customer on a whim. And that's kind of problematic. And I've seen that demonstrated when I've asked people to just open accounts and tell me what happens. Like what does Coinbase let you do? What do they put you through in order to get access to certain features? I've been a Coinbase customer for 4 years, and Coinbase has offered me a very strange deal that varies a lot and changes a lot. And they've recently kind of taken a lot of the gloves off and been like, okay, we're going to offer you one of the best deals that we can in terms of like staking interest or US dollar coin interest. They've never offered me or any of my friends the kind of interest options and offerings that they're suddenly wanting to offer me. And on my relatives account, they're getting 20% of the like features that I have, even though they live in the same area and they've gone through all of the same motions. So Coinbase is doing some stuff that I don't necessarily agree with. I really wish they would treat customers all the same, or at least like make it clear how and why they're drawing these distinctions. Because right now it's not clear at all. It's really fuzzy, and I think that's probably part of the reason they're having legal problems.
Yeah, potentially. I'll tell you a story about Coinbase, though. This is quite saddening right now. So, an ex-client reaches out to me the other day. This is earlier this week. And he says, hey, JP, need you to check something for me. I've just sent some funds to Coinbase, but they haven't landed. Now, this guy, he uses a token called Demo. He's the head of a transport company. Demo is like a black box that you can install in your car, and you get crypto for driving the car and sharing your data, right? So you get paid for your driving data. Now, this Demo is on Polygon, right? And he says, I sent it on Polygon to Coinbase. So I said, send me some transactions. Let me take a look. So he sent me some transactions, and he sent it on Polygon to Binance. So I went, to Coinbase. So I went to my Coinbase and I went, okay, Demo, I want to receive some Demo. I'm going to go on Polygon, because you can select it up at the top. You've got Ethereum, you've got all these different blockchains. I'm going to select Polygon like he would have done, and then find the token called Demo. Went and found the token called Demo, and I was like, well, there it is. What's the problem? It should work fine. What's not obvious is that it defaulted back to Ethereum. So he sent 45 grand to Ethereum, and Coinbase don't support Ethereum. To Polygon. They don't support Polygon Demo. So now that those assets are stuck, and the only way that he'll be able to get them back is if Coinbase actively supports the Polygon blockchain on the token Demo. So just by something defaulting back cost him 45 grand. 45 grand. Like, I'd cry.
Oh my god.
That's what I mean. We're not ready for mass adoption.
I cried over 20 grand.
Any grand is worth crying over. Jesus. Well, yeah, any amount of money, really. It's all relative.
That's what I mean. Like, it's the relativity of all of this is at this point it's staggering when, you know, I'm talking to a guy who's lost, like, in some ways 10 to 100 times as much money as I've ever owned in my life in a single horrible transaction.
Yeah.
And the relativity of the loss affects each victim differently, and it's honestly it's a remarkable demonstration of financial and personal maturity when some of these folks are just like, we're talking about them losing just again more money than I've ever thought of seeing in my life in a single horrible event, a single horrible crime, and they're calm, they're collected, like, what, I'm taking action, like I'm doing what I can do.
Yeah, and another one as well, right? Again, this is another example of why we're not ready for mass adoption. So I'm going back maybe 3 or 4 months right now. I wrote a thread on X. I'll see if I can find it whilst I'm talking, which is likely to be unsuccessful because I can only do one thing at a time. But I wrote a thread on address poisoning. I called it Address Poisoning 101, so that's what I'm going to go search on X. And this is an attack vector which is so annoying. Have you ever been on DBank and seen those grayed out transactions? Have you seen that?
I've got about 12 in the past day.
Yeah.
Some of them are really amusing too. They're like, click link here to go to bettergmx.co.ch.
Yeah, yeah. So some of them are spoofs, right? Which means that the addresses will start and end with the same digits as yours. I've just put the thread in chat. But the middle's different, right? And what happens is, here's a real example that played out. I'm Joe Blogs, and I want to send 100 ETH to somebody, right? Which is a $320,000 or whatever. What do you do first? You send a test transaction, right? That's the typical narrative, is you send a test transaction just to make sure it goes to the right place. And that test transaction is going to go well. So let's say you send 0.1 ETH as a test. 0.1 ETH is sent. 0.1 ETH, it lands in the wallet that you intended it to land in. In between, you send in those assets and you're getting ready to send the next asset. A fake transaction will come into your wallet, and this is all done by bots, by the way, so it's all automated. A minute or two later, a transaction will go from your wallet into another wallet, which looks identical to the wallet you intended it to go to, but the middle numbers are different. So the addresses look exactly the same. That's why it's called address poisoning. And I've seen somebody lose $4 million by doing this. That's the highest. I've got a client right now. It's like three. Actually, no, that was not address poisoning. That was something different. But $4 million is what I've seen being lost that way. Again, that's what I mean. Stuff like that. And all he did was he copied the address of the last transaction in his Coinbase wallet and pasted it in, thinking it was the right address, but no, spoof address. That's now gone to somebody else. So yeah, just ENS domains. ENS are like ours is intelligenceonchain.eth. Those sorts of things make it easier, right? Human readable addresses, whereas OX 123.789 XYZ, it's like you can see how that attack vectors come around, but you have to be so careful in this space, like really, really careful. So yeah, just a word of warning there. But read that thread, check it out. You'll be you might learn a thing or two, and if you learn a thing or two, I'll be super happy about that. I might need to go in a sec, by the way, guys. Got another.
Yep. It is that time.
Yeah, I normally have a Quopi meeting at this point, so I will see. Let's see if they want to do that. But yeah, any final questions for me? Anything that anyone wants to get off their chest or come up and talk about before I shoot off? You're more than welcome. Feel free to raise a hand.
Oh, I like how Eustace says. He says, in this case, Enis looks not bad. True. And like with things like that, it does seem like, damn, Enis would have just solved it. But I mean, you can't have two of the same ENS, so
would
that
also
works,
have saving the address as well, or going back to the original source.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, like on that, it would be cool if a lot of wallets started using what Rabbit does, where if you send in a transaction to somewhere, if it's not whitelisted, then you have to input your password. So, it gives you that chance to be like, is this the right address? Because like, why do I need to approve now all of a sudden? Like it's
it's just that break, isn't it?
Why do I need to do
Binance
this?
stuff has come in. What you got, Binance stuff?
I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, I'm just having trouble with my laptop. So I just wanted to ask what people think about pre-sale scams that are going on at the moment. I made a video recently, and I think it's the same team that are putting up these projects. They seem to be putting them out one every 2 days virtually. I did a video on BlockDAG today. I think that's taken about 22 million, or that's what they say they've taken. But to me, there must be close on 100 projects, I'm guessing. And if they're all taking like 10 million, I mean, that could be up to $1 billion. And nobody seems to be talking about it.
I've been talking about this for a while. It's super, super egregious, specifically on Base, Chain, and Solana right now. Those are the two that I'm seeing the most of this going on. It's been happening on Binance Smart Chain, obviously, for ages, but nobody has really done much about it. I think because in terms of the pre-sale stuff, you're voluntarily sending them your money, and then they're defrauding you in how they use the money, which does make things, like, from a criminal standpoint, a little bit more nuanced than just like, oh, they're draining you, or it's a fraud smart contract or a Twitter airdrop drainer. There's another layer to the con in that context that
Well,
we're
some of the cons
assuming they're
are
con
different.
art.
Some of them are different. I mean, they have like pump and dump. Okay, so what they can do is they delay the coins being released, the pre-sale coins being released, or they're not releasing them. You know, there's various things. So some people don't even know they've been scammed. So they'll say, "Oh, I got my coins." A lot of this is actually on Ethereum. So that some are quite new to this. They'll see all these pre-sale articles, so and they often use the same MO where they compare their coin to two coins in the top 20. So they'll say, I don't know, let me think, BlockDAG, it's like the new Solana or Cardano, which makes kind of no sense. They compare it to two chains which are different, but they can compare it to these two new chains.
One
And
of our researchers says that is actually a scammer he's been watching. He's reported it to Coinbase twice, and he's wondering if you know if they connect to a Binance deposit address.
say again, sorry.
One of our researchers says that's my 180 ETH scammer. I've reported it to Coinbase twice. He's asking if you are aware of any connection to a Binance deposit wallet.
No.
Have you followed it out at all, Binance stuff? Like, once you've seen the scam.
I'm not an on-chain expert, so it's you guys that are the. To me, what I'm seeing is the same modus operandi. They're using the same kind of article sites to promote these pre-sales.
To play
where they
the
compare it.
SEO game.
Yeah, exactly. The SEO game where they're comparing to Solana and stuff like that. I mean, it's usually the top 20 coins, and they'll do multiple articles. There might be 2 articles a day, maybe, on one project. It's just massive, and just nobody seems to be talking about it. And the other thing is, like, people don't seem to know that they're being scammed. So another part of the scam is that they'll buy $100, let's say. Okay, so a lot of people don't care about $100. They say, oh, well, if it doesn't go to the moon, it's only $100. What do I care, kind of thing. So they don't even report it. They're not bothered about it. The other thing is that when they're if they are allowed to claim their coins, because maybe they're a small holder, so they'll allow them to get their coins. It'll cost them an absolute fortune on the Ethereum network, where if they've only bought $100 worth of coins in the pre-sale, it might cost them like $70 or something. So they're not going to do it. They're not even going to claim the coins.
They're writing these smart contracts in some shit inefficient ways to
up the tax.
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
And the same with staking. If they want to stake, they'll try and get them to stake, and that'll also. All I see all the time is, oh, it's costing me $170 to stake this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Just a quick question, because this might differentiate a couple of things. So, I think what Cypher's talking about, because I think him and I have spoken about a particular scammer before who does pump and dumps. I've certainly covered pump and dumps on my channel, my YouTube channel, just to say, hey, watch out. That literally, this is going to pump and dump. I shared it live as it happened. but I think you're talking about a specific pre-sale type meta, right? So it's this, hey, buy this coin. I actually seen BlockDAG advertised on Instagram. Yeah, so I know, I did see that, and I thought, okay, yeah, I'm not hearing anyone talking about it, but hey, it could be anything. So this is a pre-sale type arrangement where people will send in $100 and they'll expect to get tokens at launch price, which in theory should then appreciate. But if you're, you'll send that $100. A couple of days later, you'll probably forget about it because it was only a small amount. Well, relative, right? It's all relative, but let's assume that $100 is not much for person A. They'll send that money. A couple of days later, forget about it, and then they won't even know that they've been scammed until they think about it. Until they're sat on a beach somewhere sipping some gin and, oh, what happened with that $100? Did I ever receive those tokens? So what you're saying really is it's kind of a stealthy way of doing a particular scam, unless you've spent a lot of money on that pre-sale, and then you'll be ringing the alarm bells, right?
It's a combination of old school startup wire fraud with the pump and dump mentality.
When was the old ICOs? Was that like is that 2018 or 2017?
That was 2017 that we saw the ICO pump and dump boom.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same team. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was loads.
It's been
of
going
teams.
about a year, that's for sure. This team I'm guessing it's the same team because it just seems so organized and it seems so similar. Even the websites look very similar. You know, if you're a web designer, you can see, you know, like where they place the frequently asked questions on the page, where they have, they have those fake businesses where they say we interact with Binance and Microsoft. You know, they have like a sort of stream of businesses in logos kind of thing. It's the same kind of website build. It's all built the kind of same way.
Besides different colors and logos, the aesthetics are the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The structure's sort of very similar.
Yeah. Do you have any
in a lot of these
addresses, like blockchain addresses or anything associated to any of these?
Like I say, I'm not really an expert on that kind of thing, but there are blockchain addresses. If you go to let me think. Let me just try and have a look, see if I can.
Yeah, if you've
got some of them, they do.
What I would say is there's a couple of different ways in which we can validate this. What I can do is, if we just a couple of examples, maybe 2 or 3 examples of, here is the advert, here is the pre-sale, even the contract address would be fine. We should be able to follow things out there, and it shouldn't take too much time either, I don't think.
Some of them have the address on there, but I can't see on this one.
No, take your time. Feel free to open a ticket or whatever. You can.
Right, I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send it when I've got time.
Yeah, or you can do it by the website. There's a couple of
different ways. Examples. But yeah, everyone needs to be kind of aware of it. I just think it's a massive scam. I mean, even if these, I've found like at least 40 websites, and they're sort of claiming they're getting like 5 million each. I mean, that's like 200 million.
Just bear in mind. I mean,
how many that I don't know about, and how many that are getting 50 million? You know, this BlockDAG's got like a video, and it all looks pretty good.
Yeah.
To a newbie, you could easily fall for it, and they're selling sort of miners as well.
All sorts of different types of scams out there. So yeah, please open a ticket or send it us or whatever, and we'll take a look. We've got a question from Bristol as well. Let's bring Bristol up.
Bristol's, yeah. Come on up, Bristol.
Hi guys.
How's it going?
Are you from Bristol?
Appreciate you bringing me up on the stage. Yeah, I am from Bristol. Hence the accent. Just wanted to ask you, how do these scammers get away advertising on YouTube? Because I don't watch normal TV. I do watch a lot of YouTube. I watch your guys' channels.
And I have
there's one particular.
But go
there's
on.
there's one particular scam at the moment. Well, at least I think is a scam. Is a trader. I'm a trader myself. And there's a trader called Greg Secker.
Secker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh,
I've
boy.
seen
I've
his
done
videos.
videos on him. I've done multiple videos on him, but you won't, if you're in the UK, you won't actually be able to find my videos because he gets his lawyers to ban my videos. So if you get a VPN and then go to my site, you might actually see the videos that I create on him. I've done about
Okay.
6 or something. But yeah, I believe he's a scammer. I think there's some stuff in the pipeline at the moment about him. I think some people are actually got some lawyers on his onto him now. I think they're putting something together anyway. That's what I heard in the pipeline.
How does how can YouTube sort of, you know, they're so controlling of people, but then they can just let these scammers. I just don't understand how they can get straight to the front of the queue.
Well,
YouTube are
Yeah,
taking the money basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You've
I
all
hate
seen
to
his
say it,
ads.
it's the
You just
fucking
think about
money.
how much advertising revenue that YouTube
yeah,
are generating from Greg Secker because
yeah,
he's on every bloody other ad.
yeah.
Um,
I just see
so
him in my timeline, and my timeline is just like whenever I go on YouTube, this guy's just constantly just, you know, and I was looking at this trading bot and whatever, and it just screamed at me like a scam, you know. It's just too good to be true.
yeah,
Far too good to be true, yeah. But yeah, no, interesting to
it's not just YouTube
How
as
do you
there are,
well.
spell
there are
his
quite
last
there are quite a
name?
few
Oh,
there are quite a few trading ones out there. I can't remember the name. There's a sort of this Asian guy who said he used to work for Barclays. You've probably seen him. I can't remember his name. And there's a couple of others, and they're pretty much all scammers. Let's face it, if they've got a great system for trading,
Greg Secker,
why aren't
you
they keeping
say?
it to themselves?
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Greg
That's
Secker,
pretty
that's the guy's name.
that's pretty funny. I type him in, and the first things I see are Greg Secker and Greg Secker exposed. But with that being noted, here's the man's YouTube account. Greg Secker, learn to trade.
Yep,
Ugh.
learn to
It,
trade.
it's just for me, like if it wasn't, if YouTube, the guy would not get an audience. If it wasn't for YouTube, he wouldn't be able to scam these people. So for me, YouTube is just, they're just as bad is Greg.
He's
They
a
work
grind
hand in
set
hand.
guru. God damn it.
Yeah, YouTube are complicit in promoting a lot of these scammers. Obviously, you've seen stuff like send one BNB and get two back and stuff like that. And there's a lot of those adverts on YouTube. I don't
Yeah.
understand why YouTube aren't facing a civil action lawsuit. Personally,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a ton of them. You're right. They're everywhere.
yeah. It's so blatant. It's just like,
yeah,
is it so blatant? It just gets looked over, or I just don't understand it.
The scammers are paying for the ad space, and I believe they're doing it through currency arbitrage.
Okay.
and it's not just on YouTube. I know on X or Twitter, you know, business accounts are literally for sale on black hat websites or Telegram groups, where you can buy a gold gold badged
Gold
account,
check.
gold checked account, like $30. So that's how they on X. That's how they can do it. Maybe not 30, but whatever. You can just buy one, and even just by having that gold check, you know, you have to spend, I think it's like $1,500 a month or something on marketing. So just having that check gives the average person some sort of sense that, oh, it must be legit. They've got a gold badge, and they're not. They're just going to drain you dry of everything you've got. So these scammers are very clever. They're in every sort of every way of life. There's scammers. You know, it's not just blockchain. It's probably even worse IRL. Romance scams. Oh, it's everywhere, honestly. So yeah, I mean, back in my early days, I remember watching this YouTube video of an MEV bot, and I thought, well, this looks pretty cool. So I thought I'll check it out, and I only put $20 in, right? But I took the code, put it into Remix, and uploaded it. Put my $20 in. $20 just goes straight out into somebody else's account. I was like, damn. But yeah, that was a YouTube video, and you know what they say is if you put $10,000 in, what you're going to do is you're going to earn much more money because that money's working for you, and MEV this and sandwich attack that, and you know you're going to earn so much money. Some people would have put $10,000 in that, and it would all just been shipped to somebody else's account. Yeah, that was in the early days. So it is in every sort of avenue of life, and it honestly, it's disgusting. I think it really is. YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, it's everywhere.
Talking about, obviously, you were talking about Trade AI. First of all, one thing it has done is really, really open my eyes. Like, you know, I'm past the stage now of feeling stupid, and you know, it's a case of accepting it and moving on, which I've done. But yeah, it's definitely woke me up to the audacity of these people, you know.
So yeah, some of them are
kind of
very
sad
intricate.
that yeah, it's kind of sad. The space is that there's so much good in this space, but like this has showed me that there's so much bad in this space. There's so much evil in this space as well, you know.
Yeah, in my DYOR class that I was talking about earlier, right, I talk about a project which came out, I think it was January, February 2022, and it's called Seifu, right? And this Seifu token, it released at about $16. It went up and hovered around between $200 and $300. But it was a high APY token. It was like 398,000 APY. It was ridiculous. And
it was part of the Ohm Fork rebase days.
Yeah, but that was one of the crazier ones. In fact, I did see one that was like 1 million APY. But anyway, the point is, on this course that I do, I talk about it doesn't matter how attractive the project is, you really need to understand what the mechanics are. How is it working? And yeah, of course, you can have 400,000% APY. Why? Because a smart contract will do whatever you tell it to do. It will just print all those tokens every day. And if people don't understand that, they'll go in thinking, oh, this is 400,000%. I'm going to get a Lambo after like 4 months. So you hold your money in there. What happens then? Well, other people will sell before you, and therefore you're left with worthless tokens. And this guy, and I'll show you the examples in the training, he marketed so well. This guy was like a genius at marketing. He even got Lewis Hamilton, seven-time world champion F1. He got his brother, who was racing the British Touring Car Championships, to wear his project's logo on the side of his car for a full year. You know, this is the extent that he was going to. This guy was he was really good at marketing. He was even on the front cover of magazines and things, right? So he literally built this cult. Like, everyone thought they was going to get rich. These tokens were printing every day. And then boom, one day, mass sell off, and then everybody sells. And that thing goes to zero. Quicker than you can say crocodile. I don't know why I said crocodile, but yeah. So
you just reminded me of something. I flew into Vegas from for a crypto event, like an NFT event.
Yeah, that would drain your wallet.
I flew into LAX, and the custom guy, like, I was on my own. He's like, I said, I've come for a crypto event. That was it. They tore me to pieces, and I got chucked in this office, and that was the first question he said to me. We believe that you're involved in a project called Sifu. And these guys, they interrogated me for like 3.5 hours.
Sifu or Seifu?
Seifu, yeah. I pronounce it different. Yeah, Seifu, yeah.
Yeah, because Sifu was a guy who was involved in the Quadriga incidents, which was...
No, it was Seifu. It was exactly that, because I can remember that, like you said, the Lewis Hamilton's brother,
so it's the same project?
The touring car driver.
That's amazing. It's the same project, yeah.
Wow.
Seifu was going to launch an airline, guys.
He was, and Formula One advertising.
Please.
Do you know what though? In the training in the course, maybe I should put that out on a couple of emails, out to our on our mailing list. But if folks want to do that course again, Yeah, I'm more than happy to do it. But I literally show there's a video of Brian Legend, who is the person behind the project, in his AMA, his first one. He's literally there in a shirt and tie, and he looks really smart, and he's got his face, he's doxed, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this is a cool guy. He's great at marketing, and this thing's going to moon, right? It's going to go to the moon." And then over time, as he gets richer and richer and richer, he starts wearing Louis Vuitton. Then he starts getting the Louis Vuitton bag in the background, and literally, you can see each week as it goes by, more and more Louis Vuitton bags stacking up in the background, and he starts to wear some absolutely ridiculous clothing. And just to see that transition, I mean, I think I even had some money in the project to begin with, and as soon as I seen him start wearing some gangster clothing, it looked like gangster stuff, I was just like, I'm out. This is Richard Hart. Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
that
was
sort
trying to
of.
remember who was the guy. Yeah.
It's that sort of persona, I would say. I would say Richard Hart, though, I would say he's more intelligent. He's always got an answer for everything. Even though, what he built was a Ponzi. 40% a year is still a Ponzi. But, it don't matter how you describe it. Time is not...
yeah, thanks for letting me up on stage, guys. I'm gonna drop down now, and really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I'll be around.
Yeah, have you been on the emails,
Okay.
Bristol?
Great. Great.
No, I just opened the ticket. I'm a boomer, so I'm a total noob when it comes to blockchain and stuff like that. So I have opened the ticket. I have sent you some transactions.
All right.
I've sent you my wallet. So if there's anything else that you need, or
No, it should be enough.
like I said, I've not really done anything.
That's great.
I was getting like you just mentioned, these other groups forming. I was totally aware of that straight away. I'm going to get people, want me to jump into other groups, and they're going to try and prey on, victims and stuff like that. So I've sort of held back supplying any information until I find something that feels real legit, and you guys feel real legit. So this is the first time I've sent a transaction or even mentioned to anyone about this trade AI bullshit.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. It's no, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It really does. So we'll get you hooked up, and you'll see. I do need to send out another summary email, because after I sent out the last one out, there's been a number of people submit some more info. So yeah, I'll hook you up with that. But thanks for joining the stage, and thanks for sharing that information as well. All right.
Appreciate you guys.
And if I can help you with anything education wise in terms of blockchain, I'm down. Just let me know. We'll carve some time, boss. Really happy you're here.
Oh, okay, so who's that now? Oh, I was going to say, something that we should always remember, the best scammers are the most charismatic people you'll ever meet. It's not even just scammers. That reminds me of, like, serial killers too. They tend to be very, very charismatic people. They are so damn charismatic that you'll never notice the kind of people they really are until, it's way too late. So when I see someone that's a lead or a head of any project or whatever, and they're super charismatic, immediately that's just like red flags, red flags. Like, this guy he's clearly too good at what he's saying for this to be something legitimate. So, but I guess that's just something you kind of develop after seeing so many scams, and then they tend to. A lot of them are also, some of them, or maybe like 50, 70% of them are also incredibly smart. Like, you can't get away with stealing people's money for a long time if you're not smart, if you don't have at least some intelligence to be able to fool people continuously into giving you their money, into making people believe that, oh no, you still got them. You need to have some intelligence and that charisma to be able to drive that, to be able to make people think, nah, this guy's got us. He knows what he's doing. And also, I trust him. So the charisma makes people trust you, but the intelligence makes people think, nah, he's got us. He's going to make us some money. too charismatic to be a nerd who can code a real project, yo. Yeah, pretty much. I always say the ability to speak derives of the ability to do things that are more technical and intelligent to an extent. You know, you learn the smarts of manipulating people while you lose the smarts of doing everything else. I mean, it's obviously not completely 100%, but because they are outliers, but that's the kind of trade-off that I see with that. Oh, and it's also why in crypto we tend to hear, oh no, if the marketing is good, it's going to pump, it's going to go to the moon, because that's just another form of charisma in essence. Most of those super marketing things tend to be a scam at the end of the day. Even if it's not an outright scam, like Pepe, for example, technically made a lot of people millions, but the people that created it likely made out more than everyone else. I think it was the Milady stand. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. That's just a little bit of my 2 cents on Brian Legend and the many people that are like him. Or is that other guy, the Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, I think he's still scamming people to this day.
It's a sick world. It is. There's lots of bad actors out there.
Jordan Belfort, he
He
hasn't
is it.
quit. As long as we're talking about scammers from the last decade who haven't given up, I have to give a special shout out to Martin Shkreli, who has gotten into a feud with another crypto influencer who is a former jail-bound federal level penetrative hacker. The guy got out of jail and studied economics while he was in there and started trading like a motherfucker. I actually have a lot of respect for this dude because I've followed his journey, and he got into this amazing 7-hour long Twitter pissing contest with Martin fucking Shkreli, the pharma bro. Which, if people don't remember, Martin Shkreli famously inflated the price of insulin shots at a time when insulin was honestly affordable, like in neighboring countries for basically bottom dollar. Like he was managing to get like $500 or $600 for insulin. And the reason he was able to do this was because he bought a pharmaceutical company that had a monopoly on the patent for the insulin medication. So he essentially drove the cost of insulin up artificially because he wanted to make a lot of money. And there was a lawsuit and a subsequent criminal investigation. And yeah, oh, that's right, Eli Pens as well. Oh my God, EpiPens. He did it to EpiPens too. That's right. He did it to epinephrine, like basic, like life-saving medicine. He just inflated the cost of it because he wanted to make a ton of money. And oh God, he did he did it to epinephrine, HIV, malaria, and insulin. Like, just he bought pharma companies and drove the prices up because he wanted to make money. He could easily have sold these drugs at half the cost he was charging and still made a ton of money. He didn't do that. He jacked the prices up, monopolized the market, and then when the criminal investigation came, it turns out he was committing wire fraud on top of extorting and killing people through medication. You cannot make this up. Yeah, this is pre-2016 election drama, actually. This is international news. And now, in 2024, the guy is shitcoining on Solana and getting into arguments on Twitter with people. His journey is going to be one for the history books.
Yep, and they just don't give up, do they? So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hit stop on the live feed now. So I just want to thank you very much for spending the evening with us, chatting crypto and all things scams. I actually enjoyed that. Thanks for everyone coming up as well. Binance stuff, Bristol, really appreciate it. It's really interesting to hear different takes
Big
and
shout out
experiences.
to all of our guests.
Yeah, and please come again next time. every Thursday at this time at 9 p.m. UK time, we'll jump on the mics and we'll have a chat about whatever. Sometimes we don't live stream either, but they're sometimes the best. Anyway, stopping the stream.
Yeah, because
thank you very much.
Some of our friends who don't like the streaming will come visit.